Hi there, Fabian Claus here from the Guyana Revenue Authority. Now this week in Focus on GRA, we'll be talking about professionals in private practice, in particular, their responsibilities to the GRA in relation to applying for the practice certificate and the payment of the professional fee. This is where Focus on GRA begins. Have you ever received a phone call from someone sounding like this?
Before we grant you access to come in to upload your cash along with the keys to this brand new vehicle, you'll need to get the tax and VAT cleared. What you'll have to do, you'll need to let me know if you think you are available having $250 to get your tax and VAT cleared.
Tax advance?
Or maybe you were approached by a stranger who offered to help you with a transaction at the GRA for a small fee, of course.
Don't worry about that, no. Just give me the documents, your 20,000, and I get you compliance.
Well, if ever you encountered one or both of these two situations and you gave in, then you were the victim of a fraudster. Here's what to do if you suspect that someone is trying to scam you in the name of the GRA. Firstly, all payments must be made to the GRA's cashier. And please note, an official receipt will be accompanied by all payments. It therefore means that no one should collect money from you on behalf of the Guyana Revenue Authority. Alternatively, taxpayers can utilize GRA's online digital payment options at banking institutions such as GBTI Republic Bank and Demerara Bank, or GTT's mobile money. That's right, payment with just a click of a button.
Done.
If you encounter a scammer or you suspect a scam, then you should request the name and ID of the person posing as a GRA representative, since all staff of the GRA are required to carry identification cards while executing their duties. Report suspected scammers or imposters to the GRA's Special Investigation Unit by calling its hotline 225-5051, or you can send an email to siu@gra.gov.gy. In its capacity as a supervising authority under the Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism Act, the Guyana Revenue Authority presents to you this factoid. Money laundering. Money laundering is the processing of criminal proceeds to disguise or conceal their criminal origin. Simply put, it's the process by which criminals make dirty money obtained from their criminal activities look legitimate or clean. Welcome to Focus on GRA. This is a program of information for taxpayer education. We're coming to you from the practice of tax consultant Mr. Dindi Saw, located at Barima Avenue. Now, Mr. Saw is the person you go to for professional advice and services to be tax compliant and to complete your transactions at the GRA where necessary. Now, like several other professionals in private practice, Mr. Saw has his own obligations with the GRA regarding the payment of the professional fee and applying for his 2024 practice certificate. Now, by professionals, I'm referring to private dentists, physiotherapists, private veterinary surgeons, engineers, surveyors, architects, pharmacists, optometrists, auditors and accountants, etc. But before we talk about his obligations, let's get to know Mr. Dindi Saw a little more. Mr. Saw, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
How long have you been in the professional field?
I am now 57 years in private practice. Yeah. Well, no. Sorry, let me correct that. Not private practice. But from my career, I'm now in private practice for about 28 years. Yeah, out of the 57.
Now, if I'm correct, the accounting field had called you to serve beyond Guyana's jurisdiction.
Yes. And I worked, this is the exposure, I worked in a place called Mombasa in East Africa. I worked in Barbados, St. Lucia, and Antigua. And I returned back to Guyana.
So you're now in the business of tax consultancy. Tell us what the job of a tax consultant entails.
Tax consultancy, and this is strictly in relation to Guyana tax. to Guyana tax. Despite I worked in Barbados, St. Lucia, and Antigua, I'm specialized in Guyana tax.
So with the tax period fast approaching for year of assessment 2024, this is usually the period when your phones start ringing off?
Yes, it is happening for the last week. Last week or so, I've been getting calls. And mostly it's for guidance. It is guidance in order to prepare their accounting stroke financial data. My advice to them is to maintain proper records of sales, purchases, and expenses. Those are the core areas that accountants need, generally. So you advise them accordingly. And I advise that they do it, get a program online and to do it QuickBooks or other, what their choice is. I would not get into that. That's their choice.
So on that note, what impact do you see with the recent raising of the threshold to $100,000 monthly?
The threshold would be assistance. It will be assistance to a lot of employees will be off the tax system. I reckon they will be off because they are not, the threshold is reasonable, fairly reasonable. Fairly, I want to qualify that. And so a lot of them will come off the system, which is a good thing. And I want to touch on this. With this cost of living that's going up, all right, and the Stabroek News compliment to them, I must be fair that they do a cost of living every week. And the consumers mention it. The cost of living is hitting hard on those low-income people. And that's the truth. That is the truth. And therefore, I would like to see the government of the day do something to ease it. And that again is the truth as a tax practitioner.
Great. Well, our discussion with tax consultant Mr. Dindialsaw continues after this short message. Stay tuned.
My name is Dindialsaw and I'm a tax consultant. I'm encouraging all professionals, all, be you an accountant, a doctor, or an attorney who are self-employed. I would like to take this opportunity to encourage you to ensure that all your taxes owing are paid up to date. Or if not, arrangements are made with the GRA to have it paid. And that will enable you to obtain your practice certificate.
Need to apply for a taxpayer identification number or TIN from the GRA? Here is what you'll need: ID or passport and proof of address. This can be a utility or internet bill, renter's receipt, or a mail bearing GPO's official stamp. Provide the original and copy of these along with the completed application form. It costs $1,000 for a new TIN and $2,000 to reprint a lost or damaged TIN. GRA, your partner in development.
You're watching Focus on GRA. We're having a discussion with tax consultant Mr. Dindialsaw on the tax practice certificate. Mr. Saw, welcome back to our program.
Thank you very much.
Now, professionals have between January 1st to the last day in February to complete the application for the practice certificate. Have you completed this process?
Yes, I did. At the moment, I would advise that professionals, they arrange and get their tax practice certificate. It is very important that you obtain it, pay your taxes accordingly. You must comply. That is the key word. Compliance before your tax practice certificate will be issued. And for the last week and a half, I did that. This is my tax practice certificate for 2024. I have complied with my tax requirements. I paid my taxes accordingly, and that is why I'm qualified to obtain my tax practice certificate. It is now put in a conspicuous place in my office so that when taxpayers visit, they'll be able to see it. In obtaining my tax practice, at the compliance section downstairs, the staff was very, very helpful. And I have to write the commissioner for special mention to one of the staff there that assisted me. All right? At this program, I won't call name. It would be unethical to mention the name. But the entire compliance section of the GRA, the head office on the northern section, where the compliance section is located. So future applicant for their tax practice certificate can know where to go.
So on that note, what recommendations can you offer the GRA in terms of how it can improve the delivery of its services, not for the tax practice certificate and for generally other services that taxpayers come to the GRA to obtain?
Fabian, that's a very good question, because from my experience, I think from my experience, a lot more could be done at GRA, and so that taxpayers can have a more smooth dealings with the GRA.
Certainly, recommendations that I'm sure have been duly noted by the management and staff of the GRA, including our Commissioner General. Now, if you're a first-time applicant, remember you're required to attach your academic qualifications and accompanying recommendations from the body that's governing the profession, such as the ACCA, if it's accounting, the Guyana Medical Association, or the Guyana Bar Association, etc. A person to whom a certificate has been issued by the Commissioner General must display the certificate in a conspicuous place at his or her premises of practice, and you've seen our colleague Mr. Dindi also demonstrate that a few minutes ago. But there are a few exceptions. Now, professionals who are employed by the government are in no way engaged in private practice. They are not required to apply for a practice certificate. And professionals who are employed by a company or an organization, publicly or privately, such as a medical doctor employed by a mining company, etc., they are not required to obtain the practice certificate. So please ensure that you bear those in mind. So if you're an accountant employed with a mining company, or you're employed with an engineering firm, or you're an attorney at law employed by an insurance firm, then the practice certificate does not apply to you. But we encourage you to stay tuned to focus on GRA, because in our upcoming broadcast, Mr. Saw will be giving some explanations on the profit and loss adjustment account and other bits of information that you will find very useful in the lead up to the April 30 tax returns due date. But that's all for this week's Focus on GRA. For more information on the professional fee and the practice certificate and our discussion with Mr. Dindi Saw, we encourage you to visit our website, gra.gov.gy. You can also contact Mr. Saw on his telephone numbers, which he had mentioned earlier. And you can send us your inquiries via email, grapublicrelations@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages for up-to-date tax-related information, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and you can also check out our YouTube channel for a replay of this and other videos. Thank you for watching. I'm Fabian Krause saying take good care of yourselves and each other.